Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. And for video number 2 today, we're going to talk about celebrities being dumbasses and why you shouldn't do shit that celebrities do because half the time they're morons. And that is that, and again, this news is a couple days old, but I thought it was kind of interesting and kind of funny in a sick way to go over. Um, and that is that Idris Elba and his wife are both in quarantine together. He has tested positive for the disease, the coronavirus, and so has she. However, as far as we know, he tested positive first, and she did not have a positive reading, at least not at the time that we know of. She made a conscious choice to go in to quarantine with him when she was not sure if she had tested positive for the virus. She now tests positive for it as well, as I said before. Um, Now, here's the thing, and this is the defense that they gave, is that she said she had probably already been exposed, so it wasn't going to matter. Now, here's the thing. There have been a few cases with celebrities, most notably, I think, Tom Hanks and his wife, who caught it in Australia, and then also, obviously, Idris Elba has it, and there's a few others that I think have come down with it as well. Harvey Weinstein in prison in New York, which, by the way, that is fucking hilarious on top of the fact that he got convicted to 23 years in prison. Um, but going to the other end of that, uh, like I said, Tom Hanks and his wife were confirmed to have it. But here's the thing: is that they were both given positive readings at the same time. It wasn't like Tom Hanks got it and then his wife, you know, hung around him for 2 weeks and then later on she tested positive for it. It wasn't one of those situations. They both got it at the same time because they were on the same film shoot down there, at least as far as I'm aware, or she was visiting, one or the other. Um, and because of that, they were both exposed and they both got it. So again, they're in quarantine together. That makes perfect sense. Husband and wife, they're both sick, obviously. The Idris Elba situation is a different scenario. And the reason why I say this, it isn't because the disease will be deadly to them, because I think, well, Tom Hanks is a little bit on the older side, but he seems like he's still a pretty healthy guy, as well. His wife also looks like she's pretty much, she looks healthy. Um, and Idris Elba and his wife both look to be healthy, but they are also younger. So I don't know how old necessarily Idris Elba is. I think he's in his 50s at this point, or late 40s. Um, but the thing is that they're younger, so they're not necessarily at risk of dying from it. But the problem is that nobody really knows the long term effects of this disease, at least not that I'm aware of anyway. I don't think anybody's come out and said what the long term effects are, maybe what they could be, but not what they are. So we don't know those things. So for all she knows, she's going to have, she might not have problems now, but maybe 10 years down the road, something comes up and something like that. You don't know. So it's one of those things like, even though you were probably about 90% sure that you probably already had it anyway, it is a terrible idea to just say fuck it and go into it anyway. Um, because again, you don't know what kind of effects this is going to have on you years down the road. Um, and it's one of those scenarios where, okay, I get it, they have money, whatever, they can deal with whatever happens, but at the same time, you don't know. So if you don't know in this type of a scenario, don't take the chance. It is a bad idea. um, and again, everybody always likes to point at the whole Tom Hanks and his wife thing. They don't even look like they're affected and stuff. It can happen. Again, we don't understand how this thing works, so it's best to not risk that. So don't follow the logic of Idris Elba's wife. And again, she's in the same boat as him now because she has tested positive for the disease. But it's just, I don't want this to turn into a PSA. I just wanted to kind of point that out. And the thing is a lot of other celebrities too have been coming out and making actually either informative or good videos to try and tell their fans, the people that maybe they don't pay as much attention to the news as they do these people, stuff that the CDC is saying, or wherever you are in the world, whatever your government is telling you. Of how to combat this. Mel Brooks and Max Brooks made one together. Max is his son. Arnold Schwarzenegger put one out. I'll link those below, by the way, for this video if anybody wants to watch those, because they're kind of funny. Because Arnold Schwarzenegger's smoking a stogie in a hot tub, and it's always good to see Mel Brooks. The guy's 93, but again, it's kind of one of those things where you just you shouldn't take the chance if you don't have to. If you don't absolutely have to, don't take the chance. And again, I don't know if maybe it's just because she didn't want to be quarantined from him for 2 weeks or whatever. Maybe there was something else behind this or something, but she wasn't positively tested and she let it go anyway. That is not a good idea. And the other thing that people have been doing, which is kind of ridiculous and stupid, and thank God they closed Daytona Beach in Florida, is people were still going to spring break. Because it is spring break month for colleges in the United States, and people were still going to spring break and having parties in the middle of this. When major public facilities are all shut down. And there's a bunch of kids on Daytona Beach because they refused to close the beaches in Florida, or various other places too. And they've proven that going to these various parties, it has helped spread the disease. In addition to people doing something even dumber, which is called a Corona party. And this is not a party where you drink Corona beer. This is a party where you go knowing that some people probably have the disease in order to get it early and get it over with. It's the same idea as when parents would have chicken pox parties back when that was a thing, back in like the 50s, where all the kids would get chicken pox at the same time so they wouldn't have to deal with it later in life instead of, getting something like a vaccination like a normal person does. It's it's actually, now that I think about that, I'm thinking of smallpox, not chickenpox. But the point is that that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. That you would deliberately go to a party to get infected with a virus that you don't know exactly what it does to you. For all you know, it's mutating your DNA. Nobody frickin' knows what it actually does outside of just make you feel like shit. And kill you if you're very, very old. But there's a whole bunch of dumb shit going on over there, and I'm aware this is now turned into a PSA because I'm a dipshit. But regardless of that, it's one of those things. Just don't do it. Just stay in. If you can work from home, work from home. If you have elderly people in your life that you don't have to have, be in the same physical vicinity as them, then don't. Talk to them on the phone, talk to them on Skype or whatever, whatever your chosen digital or phone communication is. Do it that way so that it's mainly for keeping people safe that don't have immune systems or have very weak immune systems, and in a lot of cases that's the very young and the very old. So it's just something to keep in mind, at least for the next few weeks. But don't be like Idris Elba's wife, please. If you haven't tested positive for it, but you know somebody who has, get tested and make sure that you are not testing positive for it. Go to your local doctor's office, wherever that may be, or if you're quarantined or whatever at home. I know there's some people out there that are from other countries. If you're quarantined in your homes, notify whoever you have to notify to get tested. But that's just me, and that's just my opinion on this. I want to know what your opinion is. Do you think it's really that big of a deal that she was willing to do it? Do you think it's kind of do you think it's being overblown? Do you think it's dumb like I did, like I said? I want to know what your opinions are, so put them in the comments below. Hit the bell for notifications, hit the like button, subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?